One.
Hey, we're so glad that you're watching, and we have a big show coming up. We want to encourage all of you live streamers, stay on the online with us, and all of you who are watching, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, I've got a favor that I want to ask you. We actually entered a contest. It's called Small Business Big Game, and it's from the Intuit. I don't know if you have this little device on your phone, but it's a way that you can, swipe a credit card. Anyway, they have this contest, and if you win this contest, you can actually get a commercial during the big game. I know you know what I'm talking about. If you go to my website at LifeStyle with Denise Simons, you see that little arrow there? It says vote for us. You can go online, vote for me. I've already made it to the second round, and we could take Nashville national. So hey, I appreciate you all going on, and you can vote every day until October 13th. So thank you so much for doing that. And while you're on there, you see that little contact button that was up at the top. You can also register. You can register with me for the newsletter. That way you know what's going on every week. That's a way that I can stay in contact with you. Well, we've got a big show. One of the things we have never talked about is outdoor lighting, and we have Shirley Horowitz with Davishire Interiors is back with us. We're so glad to have you, Shirley.
Oh, thank you so much for asking me.
Absolutely. And Terry Lawrence from PM Lighting.
Hi, Denise. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. Well, you and I, we sat across from each other at the home show, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But we're talking about interior design, and we're talking about outdoor lighting. And there is nothing better than to talk to Shirley Horowitz about Davishire Interiors. Tell me a little bit about your business. I know that you're an interior designer, but you also have a showroom there on 21st Avenue. Tell me about that.
Well, it's very unusual for a designer to have a large showroom. We have about 10,000 square feet of showroom space. And we have sofas and chairs and all kinds of beautiful paintings, accessories, one-of-a-kind accessories, lamps, all kinds of things that go into an interior. And then we also have our fabric rooms there and our catalog rooms and everything that you need for interior design.
And you do the interior design work, but you also have a showroom. And listen, you don't have to hire Shirley as your interior designer to get to go into her showroom. You can pop in there anytime you want. It's cash and carry, right?
Right. It certainly is.
So we want to let everybody know about that. And we're going to be talking about where that is. That's on, you're on 21st Avenue, right?
21st Avenue, 2106 21st Avenue South, right across from Freedman's Army Navy, next door to the new J. Christopher's. So we're very centrally located, about two blocks out of Hillsborough Village.
Perfect, perfect. Well, and we're also talking to Terry Lawrence with PM Lighting, and you'll see why they call it PM Lighting, because it looks so beautiful at nighttime. And I was actually across from this guy the hallway at the home show, and we had the best time. And now, Terry, you won one of the awards for the best booth, but tell me about your company and your business and all about what you do.
Okay. Well, PM Lighting has been in business since the 1993. We actually started out as a kind of a small shop. The gentleman that founded the company was from Holland, and he was an artisan, basically doing metal spinning, and he and his dad did giftware and that sort of thing. And at some point, when the professional outdoor lighting market was born, basically this founder had taken his designs and created a line of outdoor lighting. And so today we are actually a manufacturer. We do full manufacturing, and we have dealers throughout the country that actually install our fixtures for different markets and so on. But here locally, we have a local division, which we're going to be talking about today, and it's the local division that handles the Middle Tennessee market.
Well, and I mean, you talk about outdoor lighting, but I mean, this really is craftsmanship. I mean, some of the most beautiful copper that you've seen, and I just really fell in love with it as I was across the hall from him for about 30 hours. But we had a great time. He's a good guy, and I look forward to him telling you how you can get that curb appeal. But first, we're going to talk to Shirley. Shirley, you have got some pictures now. You're an interior designer by trade,
right?
And you have now. We can't show the governor's mansion that you worked on, so we don't have any pictures of that for security reasons, but we do have pictures of some of your clientele. So tell me a little bit about how you design. Now this is a picture we're seeing here. Tell me about that.
Well, this is a picture of a corner of a bedroom, and basically it's very contemporary. You can see the mirrored bedside table. You can also see the wonderful headboard that is actually a design from 18th century French, but it is upholstered and makes it look very contemporary. There's a beautiful, beautiful drawing, watercolor behind the lamp, but you also see that there's a wonderful antique urn that we've made into a lamp. We often have architectural artifacts that we use with a contemporary setting and that we make into things like lamps and accessories.
So you have the people who can turn an urn into a lamp.
Yes.
You have the craftsmen. Because I noticed that in your showroom, you have a lot of people working behind the scenes, so they're always doing carpentry work, they're always doing beautiful
touch-up work, gilt, gilt and silver work, fixing things, wiring things.
Now you call this Esplanade?
Yes, this is actually a design. The French did the first Esplanades, and actually their rooms were rooms off of hallways, and that's really what this is. You go down a hallway and you see all these different rooms that come off of the hallway. It doesn't waste space like a central hallway would.
And now tell me something about these beautiful window treatments, the draperies that we see here.
This is a whole series of doors, of French doors that go out onto a patio. And so we've done very, very, very simple drapery. It's called a Euro style, so that it hangs straight. It has a simple tie back with a tassel on each panel. And it picks up the colors that are in the rooms across the hall.
I love the way you've used it in succession because it really makes a statement. They're not too fussy, they're more simplistic, but you've used it repetitively.
Right. And it gives texture to that whole wall.
And now what are we seeing here?
Now you're seeing a room that's basically antique. You see that beautiful little antique French Louis XVI chair.
Now the back on that, I thought that was so interesting. You said that was a cane.
It's a cane back, but then it has that little bit of upholstery at the top with braid down at the bottom. It's very, very unusual. And then the 18th century painting over the mantle. You also see those lions. They're the precursors of the foo dogs, the Chinese foo dogs that we see guarding temples and guarding buildings. But the interesting thing is that with all of the antiques, you see a contemporary sofa, you see contemporary drapery, and you see contemporary cocktail table with the glass top.
I love how you mixed
it's that mixture.
all of it. I love the mixture of it all. Really gives it a nice look. Now, tell me about this chest. This is a beautiful chest.
That's an 18th century French chest. I actually bought that in Avignon. And the mirror is new, but it's an 18th century design. But what's so much fun about this photograph is that you see a door to the right of the chest. That is a door to a powder room. And you look inside the door, you see a beautiful little 18th century French brandy board that we used as a counter for the sink. And then above that is an iron mirror. And that it's round, and that was actually a window from a mansard roof from a home in France. They did the mansard angled roofs in the late 1800s. So when you looked at that mirror, you could see the reflection of a painting that we hung in the powder room.
Wow, I love that. And tell me a little bit too, because how do you choose so many of these antiques? I know that you do a lot of buying trips. How do you choose what you're going to use in a client's home?
When we first start working with a client, the one thing that we don't do is throw out all of their furniture. We assess what they have, both paintings, furniture, accessories. We do a floor plan or space planning. We decide what's going to stay or what we think should stay, and then we start doing colors. We reupholster if it's something that needs to be reupholstered. We may add window treatments. We add color in both fabrics and in paintings. And then from the pieces that they have and the pieces that we've used and the floor plan, that's when we decide where antiques will be used, if they'll be used, how they'll be used, whether it's a lamp, a painting, a chest, whatever.
And so many times, and we'll talk about that a little bit more because I want to talk about how you're mixing. So many designers are doing this, but I love the way you're mixing some of the contemporary pieces with some of the antiques. And a lot of times I'll go into homes where they want all contemporary, but you need just a little antique, something that will bring, but I'm going to circle back with you because you and I, we could just talk all night. And Terry would be over there just waiting on his chance to talk. Us girls, we can just do some talking, can't we? Well, Terry, we're so glad that you're here. And now tell me a little bit about the lighting. We're getting ready to see some pictures. Now, I know this must have been a challenge to take pictures at night.
It definitely is. You have to get the right time of night to actually make them stand out and get some background, so where you have a little bit of clarity in that. But one of the things you'll see in all of these shots is going to be that there's a common theme in that you're trying to blend art, design, and quality all throughout these. What you're trying to get is highlighting certain architectural elements. Mm-hmm. You need layering of the lighting, which you had mentioned earlier, mm-hmm. and you have to make sure that you have the correct applications, which means choosing the correct fixtures for those applications.
Right.
And when you're looking at these different pictures, you can see in most cases you have a combination of uplighting. You'll have a series of accent lighting, which is going to be on things like trees. You'll have path lighting, which is a combination of safety and beauty, and those particular ones. This particular shot is an outdoor backyard in the kind of a patio, and we use a unique light in this particular situation where we have a half top which will flood out into those gardens, but give a nice path lighting on the side where the hardscape is. So. Again, when you look at this particular picture, is kind of our signature shot because it has so many different elements in it. Where you've got the uplighting on the walls to wash those. You've got roof lighting.
Even on that roof line, you have a light coming up on that roof. Now,
absolutely.
And all of these would be on a timer.
That's correct. Everything we use digital timers, which basically are going to come on automatically when it gets dark and go off at whatever time the client decides to choose. Mm-hmm. This was a home in the Brentwood area that we had a little bit of a unique challenge because the terrain was so different in terms of you have it's not a level lot, so to speak, and we had to find a way to not only uplight the home but to capture all of the architectural elements. And there's a shot in here that's coming up soon that will show the steps. There it is, and you can see how tall that was. The client wanted to make sure that there was safety, so we actually had to create custom stakes to get the height that was needed to be able to light that appropriately. But again, when you keep looking through these, you'll see peaks are lit, which is another challenge, whether you have to use roof lighting or from gutter mounts and that sort of thing, or you're trying to do the uplighting on the walls for the base washing.
Right, and I noticed you, even for the trees, you were lighting up the trees as well.
That's correct, and that's part of how you get your depth, because you don't want a one-dimensional lighting design. You definitely want to have depth to that, so you want to have layers where you'll come out and take certain accents, which are usually trees. That's going to be the ornamental pieces there. You'll have path lighting, as I had mentioned earlier, which will bring the safety element in, but it also creates that layer of depth that that you're looking for.
Well, we're talking about a curb appeal with you. We're talking about lighting and safety, but one thing that we have not talked about, and I can't wait for you to see the lighting up close because it is craftsmanship in copper. We're going to be talking to both Terry and Shirley when we return. But hey, do you know what, guys, do you know what women really want? Well, that's coming up. My husband is actually going to share a 5-minute recipe. All the ladies like for the men to be in the kitchen sometimes. So that's coming up right after the break.